Welcome back to another episode. My name is Brian, and today we're going to be demoing Sagola's new 4600 line of their spray guns. We've got this beautiful Lexus. We're going to be spraying 2 doors. This vehicle came in with some very minor damage on the top of the door. So once we got it all fixed, then we got everything sanded. We're going to be blending the rear door, so we scuffed it all up. And then we brought it into the booth, and we spent a lot of time to give it a perfect tape job so that this vehicle will come out beautiful. So here we are back into the spray booth, and we're ready to get started. I'm going to drop a lot of information here that you guys can pick up, not only for yourself if you're a do-it-yourselfer, but professional level 2. So let's get started. And here's what we got going on today. We can see this is our repaired area with just a little bit of a burn through of bare metal. So we're going to put a little bit of etch on there, and we'll show you how we do that. Now, this is just a blend panel, guys. So if you're new to the channel, if you're new to painting, this panel is used just for blending color. So it's got absolutely nothing wrong. But odds are, if we were just put paint right here, you'd see a difference between these two. Now, the way that I like to do it is I not only put paint here, but I'm gonna put paint down the whole entire middle and blend her out so this all looks even, so you don't just see paint up here and possibly some overspray of some metallic. We don't want that. We wanna kind of trick the eye into this all being the same exact color. So to handle little bare metal burn throughs just like this, since it's inside of the door, we're gonna put just a little bit of tape here, and then we'll spray just a little bit of self-etch primer over that bare metal. And I promise you guys, it's not gonna take much. A little bit of cardboard here to protect my blend panel. And that's it. Now, believe it or not, this stuff dries so smooth, you don't even need to sand it, nor do you want to. This is self-etching primer. This is not a high build. You don't wanna get high build. That's gonna require some sanding, so we just put a little bit on there. Now let's proceed with a clear base or a blending additive over our 2 panels. Now, I did mention we're going to use the newest version of Sagola 4600. This is with the DVR base air cap. Obviously, this is the older one, and I'm going to be honest, I love these guns. I'm hesitant to even go into something new. I don't really prefer guns with a gauge attached. I just think it's extra bulky. So it's going to be hard for me to grab for this one when I know I have this one, you know, sitting and ready to go. But we're gonna go ahead and give it a try. I know that they also are gonna make a digital version, but we don't have our hands on that yet, but hopefully soon we will. But this also is a good version for the guys that, hey, you just don't need a digital version. You're a do-it-yourselfer, or you know, you don't paint that much, you don't want to spend the extra money, you don't need it. But for us guys, once you get the digital version, you can't go back. At any rate, we have our clear base in the gun. This is Sagola's new disposable cup system. I think everyone's kind of jumped on board once the 1.0 PPS was disposed of and that wore off. Now we're seeing a lot of this product, and it's pretty cool because it matches, and they've got their own adapters, so that's pretty cool. But let me just show you basic setup. This is the fan control. We're going to widen this up all the way to the left. We're going to hold here. We're going to take this just about out, and holding the trigger, we're going to turn it in until it stops. You see this guys all the time on my videos. It's wide open. That's how I spray. We're good to go. I don't really look at pressure too much, but I would tell you guys, keep it within 20 to 25 PSI in and around there. Let's see what it can do for a clear base. You're not going to see me tack off too much, but you will see me tack off in the beginning and possibly right before it clear. This is clear base going on. This is more of a visual aid. You would use this more for metallics. So yeah, you're gonna use this just to get a nice even coat on there, and I use it visually to help me out. We'll spray it on and then we'll let it dry. So we'll let that flash, and then we're gonna get the paint on there. Let me tell you a couple things and what I feel about guns nowadays. Now, about maybe 15 years ago, when I started just fiddling with my garage and buying spray guns, I gotta be honest with you, there was nothing like all the guns that are coming out every so often. Guns coming out now are like new models of new cars. It's getting a little bit overwhelming. And they're all coming out with their new technology. Sagola's DFT, I don't even know, you know, what that really means. It's the dynamic flow technology. Iwata's got their own technology. DeVilbiss has their own technology. I don't care about any technology and all the marketing. I just want a gun that sprays and looks good. I don't care about what they developed that's new. In my opinion, all gun manufacturers for the most part are just using their marketing to sell you a gun that performs. If it performs, it performs, and I am going to tell you that. If it doesn't perform, I'm going to tell you that. Right off the bat, this gun is a little bit lighter than the original. I can feel that. It's performing, all right? Regardless of what technology it has, it's performing, and that's what we need as painters. So as we go through with the metallic and the orientation of the base, and then obviously the clear coat, we'll see. Is all this marketing worth it? Is this a good gun to buy? Should you open up your pocket to spend the $600, $700, $800, $900 on a gun? That's very expensive. That is extremely expensive. And I'm here to tell you, don't buy a gun if you're a do-it-yourselfer for that much money. That's flashing now. Let's go ahead and put some base on it, and we'll see how well these perform. Well, you gotta admit, with all that said, this is a pretty cool setup. It looks pretty nice, to be honest with you. I like that matte black air cap. So we're gonna go ahead and hit up our black primer just a little bit. I'm just gonna do a little bit right here, just to get a little bit of coverage. And we're gonna leave it just like that. Now, this is going to appear a little bit lighter, okay? And that's fine, because when this dries, it's actually gonna dry a little bit darker and a little bit more matte. Now, something I put in the paint is extra slow reducer, so now at the edges of my blend, it's gonna be smoother. It's not drying so quick. It's gonna be a lighter drying process and a smoother transition. So I wanna get this covered, and then I can work my way down and do a blend to the two doors right in the middle. And this also helps sometimes, guys, let's be honest, when we're sanding on that edge, you might get a burn through and you might not even notice it. So it's not a bad habit to just put some base on it if you do have the room. But let this dry for about 5 minutes, and then we'll come right back. Guys, after one coat, this is what it looks like. Now, this is proving to be a little bit tricky at the edge here. So I've already got coverage there because of the paint, and also I think the spray gun really atomized it well to get that all covered. You got a black primer, so we were working with the correct color shade underneath. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put clear base here, the same clear base I had before here, and then I'm gonna put it at the front of the door. And while it's still wet, I'm gonna take my paint and I'm gonna blend into it, because I don't like the way this is looking. There is a little bit of 811M, which is a silver metallic, in this spray job, in this paint. So I wanna make sure that we're not gonna see that. So I'm gonna show you here how to kind of make this disappear and make this all look like the same exact color before we clear. Let's go into it. All right, so I gotta use a separate gun. I don't wanna clean out my base gun for this. So I'm gonna hit this area up, and then towards the back, I'm gonna hit up, make it wet. And this should help you guys if you have a tough color. I might be able to get away with it without the blender, but let's use it when we need it. And I always like to lower the pressure so it puts it on wet. This is 21 PSI. And now we have wet and wet. Let's move quick. I could be the worst blender in the world, and this will still look nice when it's done. And that's it. Let's leave it, let it dry, and take a look at it when it's dry. All right, so it's been drying, and never will I ever clear a car unless first checking with the lights off and one of these cheap sunlight guns. This, like I said, it's got metallic in it, so what I'm basically looking for is the orientation of the metallic. And you gotta be careful with this, because sometimes the light can trick you and make you feel like it's patchy. I mean, this is OEM right here, and it's giving the same illusion as the base. So you just gotta be careful, guys. I don't want you to overthink it and think, oh God, it looks bad. I wanna make sure that there's no streaks, you know? And you know, you painters can see more than the regular person will ever be able to see. So you can catch it now before it's too late. This guy's ready to clear, so it's been about a good 15 minutes. I will run a tack rag over it, and then I will clear it. So let's go ahead and break open that other box. And so it's got the same box. Now, not that it matters, but the box isn't like as pretty as the old one was. It doesn't matter. It just reminds me of the Harbor Freight Black Widow. Not that it matters, the original one, but so you're gonna have the same spray gun. Basically, the only difference I'm seeing in the spray guns is differentiated by the air cap. So this is a DVR Clear, and this is a DVR Pro. And since it's a Lexus, it's got a little bit more flatter finish than most cars, in my opinion. So we're gonna use this one. Plus, I really want to test it out because it seems pretty cool. So all you gotta do is screw it on, and yeah, this air cap will not work on the old one. So everything's all inclusive for this actual spray gun. You'll have to buy it all together. Now, the one thing I do like about these spray guns is they kind of done away with the actual rubbers and the actual seals in the spray guns that go bad. If you're like me, I keep my paint guns in lacquer thinner for a little bit, dumped in lacquer thinner, so you won't have to worry about that. That's a cool feature of the spray gun. One I do happen to really like and was happy to know once I found out about it. First coat went down. I didn't lay it on too heavy. You saw there was a little bit of a dry spray right there that I touched up. This is not perfect by any means. It's a little bit orange peely in some areas, a little bit dry right in there. But I'm okay with that because especially I don't want it really wet here because it will just float down there. It'll picture frame or sausage edge. I don't want that. So we're gonna go ahead and give this some time. You can see right there, it's really bad, really bad. But that's not because of the gun. That's not because of the gun. That's just me not going too hardcore into it. I could have sprayed a little bit wetter, but the way I paint is I'll just get it in the second coat. Now the rookie me will try to get this thing looking beautiful in the first coat. Don't do that. Don't do that, guys. You can hit it up in a second. Please don't do that. 10 minutes, we'll come back and this thing is gonna look mint. So we'll reload it. I am noticing off the bat though, guys, it is breaking up the Clearcoat, similar to my favorite gun, the WS 400. That thing can break up some clear, and this has that kind of vibe. And you know what it feels like? If you guys have been painting for a little while, the Tecna or the Tecna Pro Light, this is kind of what this gun feels like. It's kind of got that lightness a little bit about it and that feel. It is a different feel from the previous edition 4600. It's not completely different. You know what it's like? It's kind of like when a car comes out and it doesn't completely change the model, but it does a mid-generation switch, like they change the lights or they change the interior a little bit, but it still looks like the same car, but they'll do some subtle changes. That's what this is. I don't feel like this is a completely redesign, although it does look different, because in my opinion, you don't need a redesign with this gun because the 4600 is an extremely amazing gun as is. So the subtle things that they have done to it has enhanced it as well. But the old 4600 or the previous edition, you could pick that gun up and do the same exact job that I'm doing right now. So it's really about preference of what you want. Do you want a little bit of a lighter gun? Do you want the newest gun out? Some people just like to have the newest stuff out. And if that's you, then you can go ahead and pick up this gun. Now, enough yapping. I think we're ready for the second coat. What you're gonna see me doing here is moving a little bit closer, a little bit slower, and gonna put the Lexus finish on this car. Now I'm gonna split it up. I'm gonna do panel by panel. I feel like I can get it much wetter that way. Now here she is after that second coat. Now I mentioned to you that I'm just not a good painter walking the whole panel. And it's good to know what your strengths and weaknesses are. And my weakness is being able to keep it completely wet walking the panel. So by focusing only on that one panel, I can get that nice finish that I'm looking for. So this guy came out really good, but it's not about what it looks like now, honestly. It's what it looks like the next day or after it dries. So we'll let this dry overnight because it's nighttime. We'll come back in the morning. We'll see if it's got that same gloss. Now I'm not too concerned because it was a 1.2, so we really didn't hammer too much paint on here, but it's nice thin wet coat. So we'll check it out and then let's talk about the spray gun and what I feel about it. Well, it looks really good, and this gun helped me get that beautiful finish. But don't get me wrong, any gun I have in my paint cabinet can get me that same exact finish. Some things I did notice though, a little bit lighter, just a touch, very little, and fits the hand a little bit better with a slightly better atomization. Not night and day from the previous 4600, which guys is still just an amazing spray gun as it is. Now just because I get these spray guns for free from different brands does not make me obligated to say that these are the best spray guns you can spray with. It's no different from any other brand. If I get set a spray gun, it's my job as a YouTuber to give you guys the best insight before you make a big time purchase like this. We all know that an $80 gun can get the same exact finish I just sprayed in the booth, although it might not be as easy or last as long of a spray gun as a higher quality build spray gun. So that's really up to you guys to determine, and I'm here to help you down in the comments as well. For now, let's let this dry and we'll see what it looks like in the morning. Until then guys, this is Brian from Paint Society reminding you, don't overthink it, it's just paint. I'll see you guys in the next episode.